As soon as we abandon our own reason and are content to rely upon authority, there is no end to our troubles. Bertrand Russell. Good afternoon. This one will be a pretty short one. It's the on topic for the minionization of authority. And it's something that I'm seeing more and more of, and I find it peculiar and not a very good strategy on the authorities' part, but hey, they need to adapt, right? Okay. What I am going to do is just go to Google. And you can see Google, everybody seems to use Google. You could use DuckDuckGo, whatever, but I think DuckDuckGo is probably going to be going in the same lines as Google. What all you need to do is Google something. Look for proof, look for evidence, whatever your thing is, and what you're going to get are millions of results, but you're also going to get your top results, which most people would look for. Most people are going to look for just whatever comes up as the top result, especially if it's not some paid sponsored ad or whatever. And what you get typically is just a lot of sites and YouTube videos, and sometimes it's even I would say something like Quora, for example. How is gravity measured? How was gravity measured? So you'll get a lot of like, I mean, like the top one, of course, Wikipedia is a good example. You're gonna get Cosmos Magazine, Nature.com, How It Works Daily, Dummies.com, then Quora.com, Britannica.com, NewScientist.com, etc. Finally, there is a NASA.gov, and what it does is it gets the accountability of information outside of the authorities and into the realm of the authorities' minions, the people who support the authority that are in power, the establishment, whatever you want to call them. And you're going to look for credentials, especially in Quora. Let's say we click on Quora, right? And how is gravity measured? And you're going to get answers from just random people. They're not necessarily, you can't prove who these people are. They could just be an ordinary Joe. They could say that they've got credentials in whatever. Let's look at who Bill Hill is. Yeah, you got nobody. It's some random person. You don't know who he is. You don't know his accreditations, and you're just gonna look up for the information. You're gonna say, okay, well, why do I? It's like people type up their questions. What's funny, they type up their questions in Quora when they could just typed out in Google and they would have gotten the same answer, except they had to actually log into Quora, type it out, submit, and wait for answers to show up. If you use Google, you would just get the answers right away, as far as if you picked whichever one you thought was going to give you the right answer. Most people will probably go into Wikipedia and see it from there. Then they're going to be like, let's look at what a .gov site says, and you'll see, okay, here's with NASA, and maybe you'll even type in .edu because you want to see, hey, what does the university say about gravity? And you're going to look at Stanford and go, okay, let's look at Stanford's answer of how is gravity measured. And of course, it doesn't look all too good, does it? But at least you know who it was. But it's just a lot of repeating, I guess, in the .edu, because it's mostly students. It's not like a university is going to give you the answers. They want you to pay to get the answers, right? So the people who are coming up with all these answers and websites with .edu, they're students. And what's funny is when you think back, because I'll have to do a separate episode or show on Invictus. They are a YouTube channel, and I used to watch them. And then they got into the whole flat Earth thing and saying how the Earth was proven, etc. Way back when Aristotle, a student of Plato, yet again we're getting the minionization of authority or it wouldn't even be authority. It would just be minionization of propaganda or whatever you want to call it, and authority. So basically, rather than looking at the teacher's answers, we're going to focus on the student. So they'll always say a famous student or top student of Plato, which is Aristotle, and Aristotle says blah blah blah, but no one focuses on the teacher. It's like, hey, the teacher knew all this, and the student says, yeah, I got it, Plato, but I think it's this. And so everyone goes, oh, look at the student, let's listen to the student. The teacher's, he's just old. Teacher says it's flat. No, we're gonna go with Aristotle. It's round, and we can do whatever we want with Aristotle's point of view. So let's do that. Okay. So you've got NASA .gov site. You've got EDU's, which are mostly written by the students, but most people will look at .edu sites. So all you've got left are .gov sites, and yet if you go to a .gov site, they're going to tell you an answer, and you're going to be like, well, I don't believe in government, or you do believe in government. So if you believe in government, you're going to be like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why would the government say that this is true when no one else is saying it? Not like that the educational system is not saying that happened, and all these people on YouTube aren't saying that's happening. There's a few that do. There's a whole bunch of people that are just not looking into this is what the government is putting out there. So we need to believe it, right? Because we're ruled by people in government, at least people think. And so yeah, this whole minionization of authority, it's not like they even get paid very well, and they don't really tell you the truth. They're just telling you what's been handed down to them. Hey, this is this, so I'll just do a little Google search, and someone else is saying it. So okay, look, we did land on the moon. Look, space.com is saying it, Space Center is saying it, Forbes is saying it, Wikipedia, Medium.com, Live Science, ABC News, Fast Company, BuzzFeed News, The Guardian, all these people are saying it, so obviously it's true. And you ask the government, hey, did we land on the moon? The government's going to go, yeah, of course we land on the moon. The government's the one who set it up in the first place. So are they going to tell you the truth? No, they're going to do whatever it takes for them to maintain power. There's the catch. So rather than having people just realize that if you want to look for the truth, you just see what the government's saying, and if they're contradicting yourself, you go and ask them, hey, why are you guys contradicting yourselves? And they're gonna not give you an answer. We plead the fifth. It's like, how does the government plead the fifth? It's really funny. I think it's hilarious. I don't know what you guys think. I think it's hilarious. And we're seeing that a lot. We see the minions as attack dogs. They don't necessarily care if you know the truth or not. It's just like, hey, you don't see it the establishment way? What? You must be really crazy or dumb. And then they'll even admit that they are dumb. And it's like, whoa. Are we agreeing with you because of what you're saying is just what the establishment says? But if you're dumb, it should be easy for us to figure it out. But since we're not, and we're following someone who is dumb, then damn, we must be dumb. But at least, hey, we're believing in authority. And then there are other people who claim, look, it doesn't matter if I'm smart or not. Hey, maybe I might be the dumbest person in the room, but hey, you can experience it for yourself. You can find out for yourself. This is what it says here. This is what it says here. Now you make up your mind. Do you believe this or that? Or are you going to believe in doing it yourself and see if you come up with the same answer as everyone else? And it's like, huh, That sounds more likely, right? I think if I just did it myself and see if I get the same answer as everybody else, maybe that's the right answer. Let me see here. Joke is my name. All right. So it's we just get a lot. You could just find out a lot of proof that doesn't necessarily come from the authority, from authority of government, authority of whatever it's coming from. You can't even ask them questions. You've got this whole hierarchy. You got to go up. It's like that pyramid, right? That they like to tout. It's like, hey, if you really want to talk to us, you got to climb up that pyramid. Oh, before you can even climb up that pyramid, we need to initiate you. Oh, by the way, if you get initiated, you can't talk about it or we'll kill you. It's just like, you know what? It's all right. I think I'm okay the way it is. And they're like, okay, if you really wanted the answers, it's like, that's how they draw you in. It's like, where do I get all these answers? How can I make all these millions of dollars that people have? And then, of course, all that stuff always turns out badly anyways for the people who just take that deal. People call it a Faustian deal, whatever, deal with the devil. It's more like you're just either, if you're going to do something for free, you're going to be just a useful idiot. It's like, hey, yeah, we tricked you into doing something. We didn't even have to pay you. Man, that was the easiest mark ever. And well, sometimes people are like a little bit smarter and they sell out for a lot of money. They get what they want, I guess. And then they go, all right, hey, we paid you and you did what you were doing. You did good, but you know what? Now we need a scapegoat. So we're not really sorry, but here they throw you under the bus. And it's like, hey, your performance is suffering. We're just going to take away all that money. It's like, hey, I thought I earned that money. Oh, no, not really. You know, we gave you all that money. You saved it and you didn't use it. You didn't protect yourself. Yeah, you're broke now. It's like, wait, how did that happen? I got millions of dollars. Oh, the banks we control the banks, don't you know? Oh, if you want your money, you got to do this for us. It's like, really? I have to do that? I thought the money was mine. You know what I should have done? I should just built a whole huge vault, put all the money in there, and that would have been safe instead of relying on the banks. Anyways, it's like a manipulation thing. It's fine. Hi, John C. Oddity. So it's whether you want to be a minion or you want to be the top dog. It's how you think you're gonna get there, and whether you think you're gonna probably get millions of dollars by supporting the establishment and authority by agreeing with them. And this is kind of what I was talking about with let me see, like when I first got into YouTube and live streaming and a whole bunch of other things like that, and I was thinking, okay, we've got a couple of alternative media that are talking about going against the grain and talking against the political system. And the thing is, at that time, there's also some alternative media that was pretty much supporting the system as it was. And they've got hundreds of thousands of views and subscribers. And it's like, wow, I guess they're just kind of like the new media. But I would expect a lot more people who resort to watching places on YouTube and alternative platforms and alternative media that they would probably go, you know, we're on this platform because we don't care about what the establishment has to say. But I guess it's just a new look and people just are drawn to that. And so you got these smaller channels who've got just a few thousand views or subscribers, whatever, and they're talking the establishment narrative. And I'm wondering if they're just some ordinary people that just want to make it big. I feel like, and get money, like say Rachel Maddow money, like $30,000 a day for her job. And it's like, hey, you know what? I'll be like Rachel Maddow, and I'm gonna just repeat all the stuff Rachel Maddow says, and maybe they'll hire me and pay me $30,000 a day. But you know what? Rachel Maddow wasn't talking about and supporting about the establishment when she was getting big. She was had a lot of followers, and she took the very progressive stance, which is very against the establishment at that time. And then she sold out and got a lot of money by just repeating the same thing. You could think of it the same way as when let's look at famous figures. Dave, was it something Colbert? Man, I used to watch a show. It was like Jon Stewart, Daily Show, and then after that it was Stephen Colbert. That's right. It was just kind of like nobody. All of a sudden, he did a few spots on Jon Stewart's Daily Show, and then he got his own show afterwards, and he had a good act, and it was pretty much against the establishment, whether it was Republicans or Democrats, and then all of a sudden he gets this little position on Tonight Show, and all of a sudden he's supporting the establishment. No longer do we see the anti-establishment message that he sends, and what we call that is selling out. And selling out is what makes you rich, or at least if you want material wealth. So if you want to get that material wealth and not just be a useful idiot and doing it for free, you should be starting off talking against the establishment. Except I have a feeling that a lot of the minions do get a good amount of money from the establishment by touting the establishment, and most of them it's just a little bit of, bread here and there, etc. But they're not going to get Rachel Maddow status by being a useless idiot. No, it's if you really want to be the Rachel Maddow of news, what you want to do is go against the grain, be a thorn in their ass. Finally, they'll go, all right, we're tired of so many people supporting you and leading a bunch of people, and we could use that type of support, so they'll hire you, and therefore you're no longer a thorn. You're just bought and paid for, and you get what you want. You're not a useful idiot. So also, I don't know how much a lot of these establishment touters, authority mouthpieces, minionization of authority, the minions, whatever you want to call it, of how much they get, but it's not going to be a lot. And wouldn't it be funner to just go out there and talk truth, and then finally, get that little notification saying, hey, we really like what we're doing. Would you want to come over to our station? We've got a job for you. And it's like, well, this is kind of my job, but not really a job. But, way back in Rachel Maddow's day, in the 80s, I think it was, 90s, you couldn't really get paid for doing a lot of the stuff that a lot of people get paid for now. Right now, people used to get money on YouTube. People then switched over to Patreon. Now people are trying to get money for just doing what they're doing, have their own show, whatever they want to talk about, whatever they want to do, and people would pay them money for them to keep doing it. So there's avenues of revenue. But that wasn't there back in the 80s, 90s, maybe even early 2000s. And so it's a lot harder, I would say, a lot more difficult for the sellout to establishment to happen. I mean, you'd have to be making, for example, let's say Logan Paul, right? I mean, he made, I'd say he makes a good amount of money out of YouTube revenue, millions. I don't know. Once YouTube stopped paying him, he probably figured he'd get it from either sponsors or Patreon. He probably has something like that. Anyways, he's probably still good with money. And establishment goes, hey, we want you to do this, and here's the rules, here's the money. It's like, why would you want to do it? It's like, hey, I'm doing this stuff what I want on my own terms, so why would I even care about taking your job offer? Well, they'll either entice you so much with an offer you can't refuse, or and if you refuse that, they'll probably just say, hey, look, if you don't do this for us, this is what we're going to take away. It's like, how can you take away that? That's illegal. It's like, hey, we've got the power. We can do whatever we want. And you're like, ah, crap. Oh, okay, I guess I'll do it. We don't know, ordinary people, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes because it's not transparent. I don't think they're going to operate on opacity. Transparency, sorry. They operate on opacity, right? So I think that's it. It's a quick and easy thing to look at and just think about. You can do it. You can experience it. You can do everything yourself and just have your own thoughts about it. You don't have to follow someone else's thoughts about it. And I think that's like the most important message of everything about thinking for yourself and figuring things out for yourself. And asking yourself the questions that you would ask someone else and try to find the answer yourself and not take someone else's answer, take their word for it. And the thing was, that used to be the case a long time ago. Not even very long time ago. It was also probably even the generation I was born in, that used to be the case. In science, that used to be the case. It's like, hey, let's do it ourselves. All right, I'm going to do it. You got the directions, you do it. Hey, you over there, you've got the directions, you do it. Now, when we're done, let's write it all down and compare notes. Who got the same result, who got the different results. And if someone has, and say 200 people did it, and 198 people got the same results, and then you got 2 people who got different results. So what we're going to do is, hey, let's look at those 2 people who had the different results and figure out why they had different results. And then they just scrutinize it. They'll maybe even go in and debate and say, hey, look, I think you 198 people did it wrong. And the other 2 people who say the 198 people got it wrong, 198 people are going to go, hey, most of us got it right for a reason. So it seems to be that, you did it wrong, do it again. So 2 people go, okay, we'll do it again. And this is what we got. And then those 2 people are scrutinizing the same thing that the 198 people do. And we have to look at whether the 2 people who got differently than the 198 people have it differently from each other as well, or they got it exactly the same. Anyways, all of that stuff aside, it's basically doing it yourself and compare notes with other people who've done it, whether they've done it the same or done it differently. You can compare notes, but the underlying point is they didn't get the same results as the 100 or the majority. And sometimes even the majority didn't even do it. Let's say those 200 people is like the 198 people who got the same results. They figured, hey, this looks legit. I mean, it's just going to take a lot of time and effort to actually run this. So let's just say we did it and just say, here's the result. And it's going to be the same result as probably what everyone's expecting anyway. And so it's like, hey, can we look at your experiment? And they go, no, we did the experiment. We wrote down results. And then, it's like, hey, we got the same as everyone else. So we just threw the results away and all the details with the experiment and all our equipment. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you throw away all your equipment? And they go, look, you do your own experiment. We're on to other things now. So, hi, Kathy B. Yeah, I can't rely on authorities. I mean, here's when you know we've got an authority is when you ask questions, they tell you, hey, stop asking questions, or they won't even answer your questions. And they go, well, what authority do you have for us to listen to what you have to say if you're not going to provide us with answers? And they go, we're the authorities, so you have to do what we say. Oh, we're going to do this. It's like, well, you're either going to do that and listen to them, or you're going to be against it and you're going to fight against them. And so it's going to be a fun result when that happens. But majority of people are going to say, okay, I guess you say you're the authority, so we're going to have to listen to you because we definitely don't want this to happen or that to happen. And people don't even think about, hey, is that even right? Can they even do that? They shouldn't be able to do that. Who gave them the authority? Oh, the generations of generations of generations before my generation. And they don't even think about that part, do they? So whatever government, whatever institution, whatever organization, whatever rules, what have you, whatever the way society is, the way that the religions are, it's all based on things that happened way before you were born, or way before you even knew what your stance on that would be, before you even contemplated on giving an answer to that situation. It's like, if everyone, let's just say we had this revolution. So, all right, we got our freedom back. We can create a new government. And then you've got people going, we don't want a new government. We just want to live freely without any government interference. And you got other people saying, hey, a lot of us just died to end this government, and we want to create a new one. Now you don't want to join us on creating a new one? Well, we're going to fight you too. And then it's like, hey, the other side is like, hey, we fought too. And we just want to be left alone. It's like, no, you can't be left alone. We're going to have to make sure that you follow our new rules. It's like, who gave you that authority? Us. We're going to fight you for it. And then there's another war, and finally one side wins. Let's say the anarchists win. They go, all right, now we're going to have a government where we can't govern. We're not allowed to govern each other. We all have individual rights. So you don't have to approve of this government, but that's just the way we're going to say it is. They go, hey, isn't that just what we just fought originally for against the United States? Isn't that, no. But, the United States, the government, it just kind of got a little bit bogged down and stuff like that. So, we're going to have the new United States where, yeah, we're going to follow the Constitution again, Bill of Rights, all this other stuff. And, we'll be good to go. It's like, doesn't make sense. In the end, it does. It makes total sense. Basically, what we say United States, what was founded on with freedom was to keep that freedom. Yet now we've got to a point where we actually got people into positions of governance where their powers should have been limited. Well, we gave them all their power, and now within that system where you have checks and balances, they've created government agencies within government where they're not accountable to the people because they weren't voted in by the people. So, for example, NSA, CIA, FBI, etc. These agencies that have people who are appointed by people who were voted into power is not a representational republic democracy. Yeah, it's still authoritarian, Kathy. Yeah. All right. So, think about it that way. It's like, it's very interesting how this happened to me before in a science class. This is, I think it was 10th grade. I think it was biology. And what happened was we were all working in groups. So we had a group of 6. The group of 6 people, each group had to vote for the leader of the group to make the final decisions. So I don't know how I got the lead position, but we voted and I was voted as leader. So what I did was I appointed someone else who I would agree with as anyone else is the smartest person within the group, if not the class. And I was going, hey, this person's smarter than me. Since I'm the leader, I'm going to appoint him as the leader to stand in my place to make the decisions. And someone else in my group said, no, that's not what we voted you in for. We voted in you to lead us. So, we want you to lead. And I'm going, well, I am leading. I am just telling you guys to listen to this person because this person knows things better than I do. So there you go. And she was in a debate class, and I wasn't. It was just, look, if I get to make decisions, this is the decision I make. What I think that might have been the loophole, is that shouldn't have been allowed within a representative democracy, republic, whatever you want to call it. Is you shouldn't, whoever's elected in the power shouldn't be able to appoint to put other people in the positions of power without a voting system by the people, and a lot of that is voted on by the people within the government itself. So yeah, that's not a good way to do it. But I don't think they figured that in. But now it's too late. We'd have to abolish all that stuff. Yeah. So that is it. I mean, I could talk about this stuff all day. It's just very, very interesting turn of events, and basically the only way you're gonna have to get around it is finding the loophole. Because I think they still at least want to appear as though they're following the rules. But as long as that appearance is set, most people are going to be okay with that. I mean, it's just the appearance of doing things right. And that's the illusion. That's the way to get people to believe in something that didn't really happen. It's distractions and just appearances. I mean, heck, you go into a job interview. Like if I went to a job interview like this with a shirt, t-shirt, and shorts, and I know my stuff, and they ask me any questions, I'll probably tell them the right answer, multiple variations of it, and I know I'm good enough for the position. Yeah, someone else goes in and they've got a nice suit, and then they give very wordy answers, because I'm a simpleton. I just give simple answers. So if someone wants a answer, I just figure out the simplest way to explain it to them and do that. But then they'll give really long and very, very wordy, vocabulary and complicated answers. And who do you think is going to get picked for the job? The person with the t-shirt and shorts that just gave simple, direct answers, or the person who's dressed very well that could talk your ears off with words that you probably wouldn't even understand, that I probably wouldn't even understand? It's like, I don't know why you had to use that word. I mean, couldn't you just use this word? Or, I mean, I know you like acronyms, but typically you just want to say the full thing, and then you say the acronym, and then you just talk about it. You don't have to keep repeating it and saying all these technical terms for things. And yeah, so appearances, they matter in this system that we're in. Same thing with a date, right? I mean, whatever they say is they say, your first interaction is the most important. So you want to make the best first impression. So they're all about first impressions. They're all about making sure that you look and present yourself well at the start. Because after that, it's like, you know what? Not interested. So basically, the ones who are like moi and yua and I guess schwa, I have no idea what I'm talking about with that part. But if you don't make that first good impression, you just keep doing what you're doing, and people will notice. I think last night's story with Damon Shihi Giuseppe, he didn't make a good impression for people who saw him, but he kept showing up and made it hard for people to just deny what that person has as far as either talent or heart or relentlessness, whatever it is. It's impressive, and that will end up showing in the long run. You can't fake results and get away with it in the long run, because someone's going to look at your results and say, this isn't correct. And the people who have mistakenly picked that person to get those results saying, oh yeah, that's not good. You could look at this. There was this. You'll see a lot of stories like this. There was a story that I read a couple years ago of some person starting a company. It was some medical company. It's not. Maybe it's like medical devices, saying this is what we've done in this experiment, and everyone was excited. She had a small company. She made it go public. Bunch of people bought into that stock because there's all these promises and there's these studies that this research that they're doing, and it's just people were just excited. It's like, man, this is monumental. I mean, all these studies are there showing that this is actually happening. She faked all of that. It was a big lie, and she was like the most well-known woman in that industry. I think she got awards. And then finally, someone goes, "This doesn't look right. Can we look at this in more detail?" And I think she kept moonlighting, or whatever that term is. And yeah, I think she's in prison now. But yeah, the great impression, huh? Got everyone excited. It was all a lie. It was an illusion, and people figured it out. And then there are repercussions. So we got to get to that point for actual authority, not just individuals who just usurp the system and take advantage of everybody, which is pretty much what the authorities do, right? They take advantage of everybody, but say you can't do anything to us because we're the authority, and you have no proof, and you have no proof because we gave you none. Therefore, too bad for you. Okay, so I'm gonna get off since it's time. And let's see, Kathy B. I'm sick of lack of transparency. To Senate business meeting yesterday to nominate Trump's pick for Indian Gaming Commissioner was held behind closed doors. Yeah, that's they can hold it behind closed doors, but they should be able to allow anyone in to report to the public what's going on within government. C-SPAN has less than 5 minutes of audio, and YouTube has less than 2 minutes of Hoven's opening statement. This is typical of Indian affairs of government. I'm also angry with Winnipeg RCMP Canada. I didn't even know about all of that. Kathy, you looking at stuff that I don't. I really do hope that you start your own videos and reporting these things. Or just, I think it would be the easiest thing. I mean, I know you do a lot of writing. You could just go over your website and your writing and report that, because a lot of that time and research is done in that writing in the first place. All right, that's it. Don't be a minion. Don't be a useless idiot. Hey, if you're going to go for it, sell out. But you probably wouldn't even want to sell out, because people who sell out don't seem to get things, don't have a happy ending. It's not like there are endings. Because I always think about it, now that I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watts and just paying attention to things that are going on now, not just out there, just within where I am, we are, etc. Is if there is such a thing as time, you have to look at us as all dying. All of us, because time exists, we are all dying. Because when we're living, we're dying, because that's where we're headed as far as time. But if you don't look at time in that same way, and just as a construct, a concept, whatever, we're all living. We're not dying, we're living. And therefore, stop dying and start living. All right. Good night, everybody. Good afternoon. It's going to be nighttime soon, so good night, too. I might do a stream later on tonight. I don't know what of. I don't seem to plan that much ahead, except for strategic, tactical games. But other than that, I just kind of go with the flow. All right. Later, everybody.